Imagine the world's best cruiserweight champ, undefeated, knockout loaded, avoided by every other belt holder, and you're looking at where Jai Opetaia stands right now. He's 28-0, 22 KOs, perfect record, IBF and Ring Magazine champion, and he's got a decision to make. Does he wait around for champions who won't fight him, or does he line himself up for the heavyweight division and chase bigger names, bigger paydays, and a whole new level of legacy? But here's what nobody's talking about. This guy broke his jaw in 2 places against one of the best cruiserweights of the decade and kept fighting for 9 more rounds, and won. Most fighters would have quit. He didn't even blink. Stick with us for the full breakdown, how he got here, what makes him special, the insane broken jaw story, and why heavyweight might be calling his name sooner than anyone thinks. This is going to be good. Let's go. So who exactly is Jai Opetaia? He's a 30-year-old Australian southpaw from Sydney. He turned pro back in 2015, built up a perfect record 1 knockout at a time, and then in July 2022, everything changed. Gold Coast, Australia, Opetaia challenges Mairis Briedis for the IBF Cruiserweight title. Briedis isn't just any champion. He's a former unified champion, an Olympic medalist, one of the most respected names in the division. Round 1, 2. Opetaia is looking sharp, boxing well, setting up his shots. Then round 3 happens. Briedis catches him clean, and Opetaia feels it immediately. His jaw cracks, not just a knock, broken in 2 places. He later said, "I felt the exact punch. It was the 3rd round, and I felt the crack in my jaw." Most fighters, they take a knee, wave to the ref, fight's over, no shame in it, but not Opetaia. He adjusts his mouthguard, spits blood, and goes back to work for 9 more rounds. He can't bite down, can't generate full power. His jaw is literally displaced. You can see it hanging open in the later rounds. His corner is begging him to stop between rounds. He just nods and walks back out. And here's the absolute madness of it. He wins. Unanimous decision. 116-112. 115-113. He goes straight from the ring to emergency surgery. Plates, screws, months of recovery, multiple surgeries, infections, complications. That's not just toughness. That's a different level of belief. That's the kind of heart that makes promoters and fans pay attention. So he won the IBF and Ring Magazine titles that night in July 2022. But here's what gets complicated. Due to the injury and recovery time, he had to vacate the IBF belt later in 2023. The body needed time. The jaw needed to heal properly. But champions don't stay down. September 2023, he comes back for his first fight since the surgery. Jordan Thompson in London, 4 rounds, dominance, stoppage. December 2023, Ellis Zorro in Saudi Arabia. First round knockout, statement made. Then May 2024, the rematch everyone wanted. Opetaia versus Briedis again, this time for the vacant IBF title. And guess what? Another unanimous decision victory. He reclaimed the IBF belt. Since then, he's been on a tear. October 2024, Jack Massey stopped in 6 rounds after complete domination. January 2025, David Naika, 4th round knockout so vicious that Naika was motionless on the canvas for several concerning minutes. June 2025, Claudio Squeo, 5th round, 32 seconds in, massive right hook, Squeo's jaw broken, fight over. So that's where we are right now. He's 28-0, 22 KOs. He's the IBF and Ring Magazine Cruiserweight champion. He's 6 feet 2 inches with a 76-inch reach. Southpaw, in his absolute prime at 30 years old. And he's got nobody left to fight at Cruiserweight because the other champions won't step up. Which brings us to our next segment. Let's break down why Opetaia is so dangerous and why heavyweight could be the next logical step. First, legitimate one-punch power. 28-0, 22 KOs. That's a 79% knockout rate. And it's not pillow-fisted accumulation, and these are fight-ending shots. Look at the Squeo fight from June 2025. 5 rounds in, 32 seconds, Opetaia throws a right hook. Remember, he's a southpaw, so that's his lead hand. And it lands flush on Squeo's jaw. Squeo drops to one knee immediately. Broken jaw. Can't continue. The Italian's tough. He's been in wars before. This wasn't a war. This was one shot. That kind of power. It carries up weight classes. Second, speed and timing that heavyweights don't see. Cruiserweights carry speed advantages. It's just physics. Less mass to move means faster hands, faster feet. Watch how Opetaia slips punches. He's not just fast, he's efficient. Minimal movement, maximum effect. He makes you miss by an inch, then he's countering before you reset your feet. Against bigger, slower heavyweights, that's a problem for them. Against Briedis in both fights, Opetaia showed PhD level boxing. Briedis is an Olympic medalist, a unified champion, one of the smartest fighters in the sport. Feints to bring the guard down, then he goes upstairs. Triple jabs to set up the straight left. Lateral movement to create angles. He doesn't Opetaia completely outthought him. Twice. Body just punch hard, he sets traps. Fourth, physical durability and frame. The broken jaw story isn't just about heart, it's about physical resilience. Most fighters' bodies would have shut down. His didn't. And his frame, 6 feet 2 inches, 76-inch reach, walks around near 220 pounds. If he moves to heavyweight, he's looking at coming in around 230 to 235 pounds. That's not small, that's legitimate heavyweight size. Here's where it gets interesting. Opetaia wants to unify the cruiserweight division. He's been calling out Zurdo Ramírez, WBA, WBO champion, and Badu Jack, WBC champion for over a year, but they're not biting. Ramírez had shoulder surgery and won't fight until 2026. Jack has mandatory obligations, and Opetaia's sitting there with his hand raised saying, "I'm right here." In interviews, he's been crystal clear. "I'm chasing Undisputed. That's been my mission since I was a young boy." But he's also said, and this is the key part, if those fights don't happen, he's not waiting forever. His promoter Eddie Hearn has hinted that if unification doesn't materialize, heavyweight becomes the move. If we don't get a unification after the next fight, then it might be time to step up to heavyweight. So he's not in the heavyweight division yet, but he's lining himself up. He's making noise. He's letting everyone know, "I'm not sitting around wasting my prime." Now here's the reveal, why this story matters and where it could go. Cruiserweight used to be boxing's forgotten division, afterthought status. But then Alexander Usyk showed everyone what a great cruiserweight could do at heavyweight. Usyk went from cruiserweight to heavyweight and became undisputed. Beat Anthony Joshua twice. Beat Tyson Fury. Proved that speed, skill, and ring IQ can beat size. The blueprint exists. The path is proven, and Opetaia's watching every step. But here's the complication. Opetaia genuinely wants to unify cruiserweight first. That's not promotional talk. He means it. He wants all 4 belts. He wants to be undisputed at 200 pounds before he even thinks about heavyweight. The problem, the other champions won't fight him. So what happens when an elite fighter in his prime can't get the fights he deserves? He looks elsewhere. And the heavyweight division right now, it's ripe for fresh blood. And this is just talk from promoters and media of potential matchups. Derek Chisora's team has mentioned Opetaia for Chisora's 50th fight. There's been chatter about Usyk potentially coming back down to cruiserweight or Opetaia moving up for a super fight. Nothing's confirmed, nothing's signed, but the boxing world is starting to ask the question, what happens when Jai Opetaia decides he's done waiting? Because if he moves to heavyweight, and even as a relative unknown to casual fans, he's coming in with skills that translate. Heavyweights hit harder, sure. They carry more mass. They absorb shots differently. A punch that drops a cruiserweight might just get a heavyweight's attention. But here's the thing, sometimes the best heavyweight isn't the biggest. It's the fastest, the smartest, the one who arrives hungry, stays disciplined, and has nothing to lose. That could be Opetaia's edge. Right now, he's stuck. Ramírez won't fight him until 2026 at the earliest. Jack's tied up with other obligations. He's 30 years old in his prime, and he's fighting lower-ranked contenders instead of champions. That's not a criticism of him, it's the reality of boxing politics. Champions duck dangerous fights. Promoters protect their assets, and elite fighters get left waiting. At some point, waiting becomes wasting, and that's the calculus Opetaia's doing right now. Challenge 2, the heavyweight power disparity. If he does move up, this is real. Heavyweight one-punch power is different. At cruiserweight, you can see shots coming and prepare. At heavyweight, one clean punch from a 250-pound man can shut your system down instantly. Opetaia's chin has been tested. We know he can fight through a broken jaw, but fighting through and taking a flush shot from a heavyweight are two different conversations. Challenge 3, size and physicality. He'd be a small heavyweight at 230 to 235 pounds. That means he could get outmassed on the inside, pushed around, leaned on for 12 rounds. When a heavyweight leans on you, it's not just weight, it's pressure that drains your legs and slows your hands. Can his movement and footwork hold up when someone's trying to walk him down with 20 to 30 pounds of extra mass? That's a legitimate question. He's never fought a top-level heavyweight. That's a different rhythm, different timing, different openings. His first few heavyweight fights would be education. And education means taking shots you've never felt before. The question, can he learn fast enough before someone catches him cold? Some critics say he needs that statement victory, whether it's unifying cruiserweight or beating a big heavyweight name. He needs something that separates very good from great. Beating solid fighters makes you good. Beating elite fighters makes you elite. He needs that marquee win. So what does he need to prove going forward? 1. That he can either force the cruiserweight unification fights or successfully navigate heavyweight politics to get meaningful matchups. 2. That his speed and timing translate against bigger, slower targets at heavyweight if he makes that move. 3. That his power still hurts at the next weight class. A knockout at 200 pounds doesn't guarantee the same result at 230. 4. That he can handle the physicality, the mass, the inside pressure, the accumulated fatigue against bigger bodies. If he checks those boxes, we're watching a potential all-time great career unfold. Here's where things get exciting, and I mean legacy-defining exciting. Scenario 1, he gets the cruiserweight unification fights. Imagine Opetaia versus Gilberto Zurdo Ramírez for 3 belts. That's speed versus power, technical brilliance versus Mexican pressure, Australian southpaw versus one of the most dangerous cruiserweights on the planet, or Opetaia versus Badou Jack for the WBC belt. Jack's a crafty veteran, a multi-division champion. That's a chess match. If Opetaia can unify, become undisputed cruiserweight champion, that's rarefied air. That's a resume that stands forever. Scenario 2, he moves to heavyweight. This is where promotional dreams are made. Former cruiserweight champion invades heavyweight division. That's a storyline that sells itself. There's been talk, and again, this is just talk from media and promoters, about Derek Chisora's team eyeing Opetaia for Chisora's 50th professional fight. Chisora's a gatekeeper to the heavyweight elite. Beat him convincingly, and you're in the conversation. Or imagine further down the line, Opetaia versus Usyk. Cruiserweight king versus the former cruiserweight king who conquered heavyweight. Speed versus speed. IQ versus IQ. Southpaw versus southpaw. That's not happening tomorrow, maybe not even next year. But if both fighters keep winning and Opetaia moves up, the boxing world would lose its mind for that fight. The commissions would fall over themselves to sanction it. The broadcasters would throw money at it. Fans would be locked in from the opening bell. Let's be honest, and if he waits too long, if the politics keep him frozen, if he moves up and gets knocked out cold by a bigger heavyweight, this becomes a what-if story. Remember Jai Opetaia, the guy who broke his jaw and kept fighting? Yeah, he never got the big fights. Shame. That's the worst case scenario, and that's what makes this compelling right now. The stakes, the urgency, the sense that his window is open but won't stay open forever. He's 30 years old. Prime years are limited. Every month he spends waiting for fights that won't materialize is a month he's not building his legacy. You'll keep watching. You'll lean in because we all want to see if he makes it or if the sport fails him. That's drama. That's why we watch. So here's what you do right now. Hit that subscribe button if you love boxing breakdowns, career deep dives, and the real stories behind the fighters. We're bringing you more content that goes beyond the surface. Smash the like button. It helps the algorithm push this to other fight fans who need to see it. You're building the boxing community every time you engage. Drop a comment. What should Opetaia do next? Wait for unification at cruiserweight or say screw it and move to heavyweight? Type your take and let's debate it in the comments. Thanks for watching this deep dive into Jai Opetaia. 28-0, 22 KOs, the cruiserweight champion with a broken jaw, an unbroken will, and a future that could reshape boxing's landscape. This is going to be one hell of a ride. Let's watch it together.